I want to say to the state of Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Today I want to say to the people of America and the nations of the world that we are not about to turn around.
Yes, sir.
We are on the move now.
Bombingham began as a novel that was simply set in Birmingham, Alabama. But as I'm drafting it, and this is one of the things that sometimes authors don't tell you, we don't always get it right on the first draft. So through the drafts, this idea of putting Birmingham in a larger context started to develop. And for me, because the Vietnam War was also a marker of my coming of age, it seemed quite logical that a character, a boy, Walter's age, would probably also face Vietnam. And so I expanded a little bit to include him then as a slightly older character reflecting on the Birmingham movement from the context of the Vietnam War. And what this does, I think, for at least in my mind, is that it allows Walter to reflect in a more mature way, but it also expands the theme of civil rights. It's not just civil rights for African Americans in Birmingham, but civil rights for people all over the world. I think that young people should read the book so that they can discover or reconnect, in a sense, with their history. What we do today is a part of a legacy of what happened yesterday. This is very obvious in some connections, less so in others. But if we wonder about why we're fighting about voting rights today, then we have to understand why there ever was a fight for voting rights, that people weren't automatically given voting rights when the nation was founded. If we wonder about conditions of poverty, conditions of deprivation today, then we can look back in history and understand better why these things might be today. I think adults should read the book because it is a touchstone to a history that sometimes, in fact, we as adults tend to mythologize. I tease that it's hard to find a black person in Birmingham, Alabama who just didn't love Martin Luther King in 1963. But in fact, we know that King had a great deal of resistance from middle-class blacks in Birmingham in 1963. And so much so that the Birmingham Daily News for a while wouldn't print his name. So these are some of the things that my book touches on in a way of demythologizing what we think about the civil rights movement today. Reading ought to be important to everyone because it really is, I think, the center of our intellect, and it is a way in which we continue our culture. It is a conversation with others about who we are as people, who we are as individuals, and what we want to do, what we aspire to do in life. It's really, in so many ways, a really big question that we ask through our individual stories. Also, reading is entertaining. And I think that we can't forget that part of it. Even some dull philosophy and history books might be entertaining to someone. Without that quality of entertainment, and particularly that which comes from novels and poems, I think that we sometimes lose the more important aspect of those novels and poems. So we should read for entertainment, but we should also read to engage in this discussion about larger ideas.